Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack. Today is pack number 3 in my science project of cracking a 1990 Topps Cello box. Check out my preview video for the explanation on how this science project will test the theory to see if I can build a complete set from a Cello box. I've added the link to my 1990 Topps Cello box preview video in the description below. With all of the packs that I crack, I will share my thoughts and memories about some of the players or cards. After I've cracked a pack, I'm gonna choose the best card of the pack. That doesn't mean it has to be a rookie, superstar, Hall of Famer. It can literally be a goofy photo, something interesting about the player, or maybe some memory I had of the player from back in the day. Okay, let's go ahead and crack the pack. So, we are to pack number 3. All right, let's get this out of the way. All right. So looking for, some superstar cards, looking for some maybe goofy cards from the 1990 set. So far, the gum hasn't been sticking to the cards, which is really nice. So we'll move that gum out of the way. Gonna brush up the gum spot here. And let's get to cracking this pack. All right, first card we have Bert Blyleven. Bert Blyleven with a great curveball. Hall of Famer. So we'll set him there. Mike Smith. I believe pitcher with the Orioles. Don't remember much about Mike Smith. Dale Swaim. He had a fantastic rookie year. I believe, if I remember right, he hit double digits in home runs. Maybe I think got close to 20. Yeah, 25 home runs. Looks like that was his second year. He has been a manager with the Brewers and a coach in the major leagues. Checklist. Gotta love those checklist cards. This was kind of interesting. I believe it was one of the first years where Topps, instead of doing the checklist in numerical order, as you can see, they kind of followed Fleer a little bit and listed it by team, but didn't list it numerically by team in order, still by team, but the typical Topps didn't really have a sequential numbering to the cards. Joel Skinner, catcher, spent some time with the Yankees. Steve Cummings, don't remember him too much other than he pitched with the Blue Jays. Here we go, Julio Franco, All-Star card. We opened the regular Julio Franco card last time around. Now here's something interesting to note. The no number Frank Thomas card, an easy way to tell if you're likely going to get the Frank Thomas card is in that pattern of cards that are missing the black ink. Julio Franco is one of those cards. And if we were going to get the Frank Thomas card, what we would notice is the black line right here around Julio Franco would be missing as well. Looks like we won't get the no number Frank Thomas card if we do pull a Frank Thomas, because Julio Franco has the black border right there. Brian Clairbuck, basically kind of a spot starter rotation, middle of the rotation guy for the Brewers, a reliever. Matt Williams, early card of Matt Williams, second year card. Greg Vaughn. Greg Vaughn came out like gangbusters in 1990. Had a lot of promise. He eventually did hit quite a few home runs. I think over his career he had 300 plus home runs. I don't know that he really lived up to the promise that everyone was talking about early on. Ali Hamaker. One of the facts I remember about Ali Hamaker, he is the only pitcher to give up a grand slam in an all-star game. He's a left-handed pitcher. He gave up the grand slam to left-handed hitting Fred Lynn of the California Angels in the 1983 All-Star game. Chris Gwynn, brother of Tony Gwynn, did not reach any sort of prominence that Tony did. Jeff Russell. Now, here's another card that if Jeff Russell was missing the black border around the card, pretty much in about the middle swipe of the card, that would be another indication that we would be getting the Frank Thomas no number on front. But he's got the black border, so chances are the Frank Thomas, if we pull it, will be the regular Frank Thomas. Jay Buhner, power hitting star, started out with the Mariners and then moved on to the Yankees. No, I think I have that backwards. He was with the Yankees and then moved on to the Mariners and spent the vast majority of his career. Jeff Houston, backup utility infielder. There is our tops. This is different. Before we had the send away for the binder. This is for the send away Classy All-Stars. Okay, flip this around. Greg Walker. Greg Walker's career was cut short because I believe he had the same fate as John Allrood. I believe Greg Walker suffered an aneurysm and it limited his playing career. Don Carmen started out as a starting pitcher with the Phillies and then became a lefty specialist reliever. Craig Biggio, okay, another all-star, Hall of Famer. Started out his career as a catcher, moved to second base, went to center field. Dan Petrie began his career with the Tigers, had some success, was part of the World Championship team in 1984, then ended his career with the Angels. Melito Perez. Pete Harnisch. So Pete Harnisch came up at the same time as Curt Schilling. I believe he was also involved in the Curt Schilling trade with the Astros and Orioles. Something interesting about Pete Harnisch, he later on in his career became addicted to chewing tobacco and then had a hard time quitting chewing tobacco, and in interviews and other articles was kind of the driving force to get chewing tobacco banned in the minor leagues and then eventually in the majors. Tom Henke, all-star reliever with the Blue Jays. Norm Charlton was part of the Nasty Boys bullpen with Randy Myers and Rob Dibble. Gary Ward. R.J. Reynolds, not to be confused with the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. I guess he and Pete Harnisch would have something to say if R.J. Reynolds was part of the tobacco company. Henry Cotto, mainly a backup outfielder for most of his career. Dave Cochran, another backup utility type player. Damon Berryhill, spent some time as a starting catcher with the Cubs. Eventually was replaced by Rick Wilkins. Rick Dempsey. Rick Dempsey was quite a character. If you Google YouTube videos of the early 80s, mid 80s, even maybe some of the early 70s if it's out there, Rick Dempsey did some really funny things during rain delays. Scott Fletcher, pretty much was a utility infielder. I think early on in his career was a starting shortstop. And the final card in the pack is Les Lancaster, reliever with the Chicago Cubs. So if I had to pick a favorite card or what I think is the best card out of the pack, I think I am going to probably go with, as we look back through it, Greg Vaughn. So I remember opening a lot of packs in the 1990s, especially tops and upper deck, and Greg Vaughn was a card you wanted to get. He came out with a splash along with Todd Zeile and Eric Anthony, so hopefully cards that we'll see also in this box. I remember wanting to pull Greg Vaughn cards, even as a kid, kind of back in the 90s, early 80s to, late 80s to early 90s. If you could pull a Greg Vaughn, that was like a $1, $2 card, and opening that in a pack and seeing that card just made purchasing the pack worthwhile, because by this time you were spending around, the MSRP for this pack was 89 cents. So if you could pull a Greg Vaughn, it made your day. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like it, please subscribe and share. Until next time, when I crack pack number 4 from my 1990 Cello box, remember, I'm doing this thing for science.